This is Alex Harris for Slothbox, proudly sponsored by the Excelsior Sporting Club. Today I'm here with David Coldwell. David, how are we doing, mate?
I'm very good, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm doing great, mate. It's a pleasure to speak to you again. And so, just speaking about today and where we are today, we're at the public workout. We're here for you, Hopey Price, and of course he's facing James Beach Jr. And for himself, it is a nice step up for him. And what do you make of just your initial thoughts of the fight?
It's the fight that I wanted because James has just fought for the British and Commonwealth title at featherweight. It's Hopey's first fight at featherweight. We're going straight in at that level, and he gets to go in there against somebody that's got a winning mentality, a championship mentality, and somebody that's experienced at that level. And we can gauge how he performs, how he looks, in comparison to the champion.
Of course, and I suppose for him, if anybody's saying or questioning the fact of him going into this fight, maybe saying it's a bit too tough, what do you say to them people?
If it was fighting somebody at a lower level, people would moan about it, he needs to step up. Can't please everybody, but I'll do what I need for the development of my fighters.
Of course, and just for the development of your fighters, of course, as of recent you've been in America and had a nice little trip I've seen on your Instagram, and so what is going over there helping your fighters learn?
It's a different mentality over there, the quality of the sparring that they've been having over there, champions, contenders, top fighters, good Mexicans. Case in point, Muhammad Ali, 18 years old, one fight into his pro career, is sparring Joshua Franco, world champion. Ex now, but was world champion. So just the experience of that, and Saul Sanchez and people like that, good fighters. Hopefully going in there with good lightweights. Stephen Cairns, 20 years old, sparring Virgil Ortiz. So experience-wise, come back completely different fighters, and it's just nice to see my guys perform, and I'm really, really proud of them all for how they performed out there.
Of course, and we just recently had Steve Cairns out in Uzbekistan. What is it, the reason why he's out there?
Because that's where his promoters had us. That's where his promoters put us. We just want to be active, want to be fighting. He's 20 years old, he needs to be fighting. He's doing all the work in the gym. We picked Michael Dufek. I was happy with Dufek because Campbell Atten, same weight division, went the distance with him. I think even a couple of years back, Robbie Davis Jr. did probably 7 rounds or something like that with him. So it was a good gauge for Stephen, going in as 5-0, 20 years old, to go in there and get rid of him in a round without loading up was nice. It was good.
Of course, and I suppose for you as a coach, being with these younger guys who are just building their records at the moment and not having maybe these toughest 50-50 of fights, how much do you enjoy just being able to go in there and maybe tweak little things or being able to try out new things?
For me, it's all, I call them development fights. It's all about what we do in the gym, do on fight night, and see how you can, as the levels go up and the levels of stress during the fights, as in under pressure, problems that fighters might give you, can you do those under situations like that, under the lights, people watching on TV, social media? Can you do that as you're going on, rather than just going out there and getting rid of people in a round? If it happens, it happens. But I don't want my fighters going out trying to knock them out in a round. I need them to get that experience, because promoters now don't give you enough fights for the experience for development. So.
Definitely, and I suppose for you spoke about social media there and how that does play a factor, and it does play quite a big factor in the mentality of fighters if they're constantly looking at Twitter and stuff like that. But how do you kind of channel into your fighters to keep them focused and keep them focus on the main goal?
It's not something you say once when it comes to fight week. It's an ongoing thing. I believe you've got to prepare your fighters mentally for every situation. Social media is part of the sport. It's part of life. It doesn't matter if you're in sport or not. Somebody just puts a picture up about themselves. They might be in a 9-to-5 job. Somebody puts a picture of themselves in an RDAT and an IVIS. Somebody's going to slag them off. So you've got to people have got to understand that's part of life. It's not a nice part of life, but the more you can cope with that, the better you can deal with things.
Of course, and just to move on, you have now got Ebanie Bridges in your stable, and what a person to have in your stable. Of course, a world champion in her own right. And how much has she brought into the stable?
She's blended straight into the gym really well. She's got a great work ethic. She's very intelligent. Two things that you need, in terms of being able to gel with me as a coach. So yeah, she's blended in really well. Had a great session today. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because she's not in here to play games. She's a couple of fights, wants a couple of quick fights, quick turnarounds. She's getting over her hand. She had an operation on her hand. New coach, get those fights in, and then we go into the big fights. Unifications and things like that. That's what she wanted.
Of course, touch on that in just a moment. But just as a fighter, of course, she is a very entertaining fighter, and with women's boxing currently, you don't seem to see loads of really hard-hitting, powerful punches, but she is definitely that. And so, how does that make her so much different to any of the other fighters?
I think she brings that level of excitement, because the women's game's developing all the time, and it's just going to get better and better. But at the moment, there's only a little handful of fighters where you would go in saying they're big punches. You might see a knockout here. A lot of fights, what you see in round 1, you're kind of going to get in round 10. But with Ebanie, it's a little bit different.
Definitely, and I mean herself, she is a coach herself, and so how does it differ from the other people you are training in the gym who are maybe a little bit younger compared to somebody like Ebanie Bridges who's a coach and got...
I've had older people, I've had seasoned fighters in my gym before. It makes no difference. All it is the level of intelligence and understanding. And if you've been a teacher, you understand how when you're being taught. You understand how you develop a little bit better than somebody else maybe. It's just, so only thing is sometimes with people is maybe they're a little bit hard on themselves. They want to get from A to B a little bit quicker. But again, you have to remind. It's like with Ebanie. Sometimes I have to remind her and just say, "You're a teacher. Would you expect a pupil of yours that you're working with, you're showing them a problem straight away? Would you expect them to get it straight away? No. Would you put that pressure on them to get it straight away? No. Okay. So just take your time a little bit," and she understands that. But that's because she's driven. She wants to be the best as quick as she can, and so she's hard on herself.
Of course, and now we've got also with Matchroom, we've got Nina Hughes, and so just to speak about a big possible unification fight there is between Ebanie Bridges and of course Nina Hughes. What would you make of that?
Again, that Nina's done a fantastic job. Next year Ebanie is going to be looking at these unification fights, and she wants to be undisputed. So she's got a title, then that's who's there. So that's an old British showdown, makes it a little bit more exciting. Two popular girls, so yeah, it'll be good.
Of course, and so just to move on to something a little bit different, over on Twitter we saw Tony Bellew saying that he'd come out of retirement to fight Rosansky for the Bridgerweight title. Do you think that would ever happen?
I don't know. Listen, everything starts with a conversation, but that's all it can be sometimes, is a conversation. How many times are we hearing about fights that are being made, being talked about, nothing's happening? So we'll see what happens. Might happen, might not, I don't know.
And I suppose just these fights where they are fighters that are coming out of retirement and of course have their big name but then coming out of retirement, what do you make of fighters coming out of retirement to have these big fights?
It depends on what it is. If they're coming out of retirement for a career again, if they're coming out of retirement and it's against some young killer, if they're coming out of retirement against somebody that's not quite on that level, maybe hold themselves, then you got everything's individual merit really, and it depends on what the fight is like. They get back in that gym and the balance is all over the place, reactions aren't there, punch resistance is not there, then abort mission. That's it. It depends on the person. Ray Leonard came out after 3 years, 5 years, whatever it was, to fight Marvin Hagler, beat Marvin Hagler. Then you get people that have come out of retirement and it's like, whoa, what have you done? So it depends.
And just one more kind of random little fight that I'd love to get your thoughts on. Ngannou versus Chisora. Do you think that will happen? There's talks about it, and if it does happen, would it be crazy?
Yeah, it'd be crazy. It'll do great numbers, but it's not between two boxers, is it? So it's in its different lane. It's not a boxing match. It's something that'll probably take place on a YouTube, on a Misfits channel, or something like that, on a Misfits show, something like that, or it's Saudi, you know. But it's not a boxing match, is it? I would expect Derek to go through Ngannou. I'm not an MMA person, but then if they fought in a cage, I would expect the other guys to smash Derek. That's the thing about it. When they're doing these crossover fights, then maybe do a 2-fight one, where all right, one man's having the balls to go in and do it in your discipline, but then you've got to do it in their discipline as well, and then it's just pure entertainment, because I would expect the two masters of the disciplines to get a 1-1 win.
And I suppose that's the same kind of thoughts on if Jon Jones fought Tyson Fury.
Again, I'm getting asked these questions of it's not boxing. Jon Jones isn't a boxer. You're talking about the best heavyweight on the planet fighting a guy that's not a boxer. I don't care. It's great for Tyson Fury because he'll make shitloads of money, and it's great for views and shit like that. But you're asking me as a boxing coach on a fight week, we're doing a boxing interview, and you're asking me about the best heavyweight on the planet, potentially, fighting a guy that's never boxed, never had a pro fight. So I will say the same thing as what I said before. I would expect Fury to absolutely demolish him in a boxing ring. But then if they do one in a cage, I would expect Jon Jones to absolutely demolish Fury. So what is it other than a payday? It's not anything to be able to say, oh, I smashed Jon Jones in a boxing ring. You know, we had a boxing fight. Well, I should fucking hope so. And it's not like Jon Jones can then brag about saying, oh, I smashed heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury in a cage. I should hope so. So it's just money. Fair play. If that happens, then they're going to make shitloads of money. And I won't begrudge anybody making money.
Of course, I appreciate your time, David. One more fight. Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte. Seems like it might be happening August 12th.
I hope so. If it happens, I'll be excited about it. But right now, the heavyweight division is all about what might be happening. Nothing's happening. When it happens and it gets over the line and you're not having different stories from different parties, then stick the mic in front of me and ask me what I think about the fight. Because then I'll be happy about it and I'll be excited about it. Because that is actually a fight that I don't mind seeing. At this stage of the careers, it's a fight where you know that Dillian's going to come and bring it. So it's a good fight.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, David.